Mhm.
Hi, Michelle, and thank you for being on the Calm and Courageous podcast. I'm so excited you're here. I'm going to start by reading your bio and then we'll jump right in. Michelle Hu, hard of hearing audiologist, storyteller, and mama on a mission. Founder of Mama Who Hears, where she bridges the gap between hearing parents and their deaf and hard of hearing children through heart centered education, real talk, and advocacy. She's walked the journey from patient to professional and now helps families feel less alone and more empowered, one real workshop and hug at a conference at a time. She's a dance in the living room with the kids kind of mom, a sparkle with substance speaker, and the go-to person when you need support that's both clinical and compassionate. Changing the world one captioned story at a time. That's probably my favorite bio. I'm not kidding.
Thank you for having me. Like, let's make it fun. I want to
I
know here right away versus,
love it. Because I gotta tell you, because I agree with all of this. When I first found out that my son was hard of hearing, when he didn't pass the newborn hearing screening, and you can imagine, right? And you hear parents all the time. Oftentimes, the first deaf or hard of hearing person that you're aware of is you. Some people go their entire lives and never meet anyone, or they just don't know,
I just don't know.
or
Yeah.
they don't know, or the first person's your child. And so I remember I had every thought, concern. You just want to do the best with your child, and you're already nervous. And then when you get a diagnosis that you're unfamiliar with, you don't know what's their future going to be? How do I parent? What do I do? And I went online, I joined Facebook groups, and then once I found one parent, I then noticed, okay, she's following this person, and then I stumbled across some of your reels, or they were like, I think stories. I don't know if we were really even making reels at the time as much, and I remember it just being so excited
Oh,
so comforted. So when you say in your bio, both clinical and compassionate, that's exactly what I felt when I would watch your reels. I was like, this woman she's a mom, she's a wife, she's an advocate, she's empowered, she's advocating for herself, she's teaching children and parents how to advocate for themselves. And it took away so much fear. It made me like,
good.
oh, I have tools and oh, I'm so ignorant to the world of deafness and hearing loss because we just don't know. We don't know. And so becoming more educated made me feel so much more empowered. And then I just dove right into anything that was about empowerment, learning about deaf culture, deaf history. I've taken classes, ASL classes. So and it just started from seeing a woman that, like you said, was compassionate and she was educating people. So thank you. So thank you for being here. It means a
Oh,
lot to me.
oh my God. You are like the parent that I created it for because like being a new mom, no matter how many kids you have, is like what kind of personality does this human have? Like
Yeah.
what kind of life is this kid gonna have? And then you throw in something that you've never heard of or been through. I'm here to tell you, like, it's just like, okay, well, this kid's gonna have braces and I never had braces.
Yes.
Okay. It's going to be okay. And there's a whole world of knowledge and information out there. You just have to look for it. You just have to open the door and be like, oh, that makes sense why this would help him or her. Or
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe they'll like this or not like this. You never know.
Uh-huh. And something else that I've learned, I think you've been making a lot of reels lately that have been about um uh, this isn't you don't whatever you thought about deafness is not necessarily true for all kids. And
It's not one size fits all.
it's not. And although there was this more old school approach of don't teach your child ASL, it's going to hinder their speech. what we're learning is that it can aid and support along with their hearing devices and with their speech. And I often tell people I have two children who are hard of hearing, and they have very similar hearing losses, but they don't navigate it.
Completely different.
So my son, he prefers ASL. I could, and it, with he's in speech and with his audiologist, we're learning that sometimes it might be how he's processing language. So although he may hear it, he's like, oh, I hear you saying something to me, but how it's filtering through and coming to my brain, it's just, so oftentimes I'll sign with him. And,
Because
and so it's a long
you
story.
can. You can.
Yeah, yeah. And so hearing
More
another,
of a visual learner.
he is absolutely, and he'll immediately once we sign it, he's like, oh, okay. And it's like, man, that took away so much frustration and insecurity and anxiety for him as well as for me.
Imagine if you didn't have that. Imagine if you thought, okay, I have to do this with all of my children, and that's the only way. No, look at you in the same family, you the same threshold, completely different humans. Same like having twins, completely different people.
It's true. And then my daughter is the complete opposite. She will just, like, lately she's just been saying things that I'm like, where did you even hear that? She's chatterbug. So I like those reels. I think and I'm whenever you make those, I know that a parent who's uncertain if they're doing the right thing, it it kind of reaffirms, okay, I'm not hurting you if I choose to sign in this moment instead of and then in the
This
summer
is
sometimes.
good notes. It's
Oh yeah,
more
oh yeah.
reels that are like more information.
And look,
One
I've been
size fits
wanting to
all.
talk to you for so long, so I'm talking a lot. I'm interviewing you, but now I'm just because I'm so excited. I'll say this one more thing before I start asking you questions. Is I think that it's comforting to parents when they know that they can sign and talk, and that it's not the end of the world. Also, this is another thing. You'll mention, hey, your child doesn't have to wear their hearing aids every second of the day because there are times when they'll want a break. So, of course, when they get up, you put them in, you're checking them, you make sure they're hearing things. But then, like halfway through the day, my son's like, it's hot, I'm sweaty, it's itchy, I want to take it out. I don't want, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give you this break because as a new parent, you're nervous that you're neglecting their brain. So, those really
No,
have been really
I
helpful.
grew up on TV and Doritos. They turned out okay. Like I'm freaking out about, oh man, should they have an organic meat stick or not? Like what, like, and then I'm like, you know what? I really feel like McDonald's or something. I don't know. You just
Yeah, yes,
like everything in moderation. And at the end of the
absolutely.
day, are my kids healthy, happy, safe, feeling secure, feeling loved? That's what really matters to me. Like at the end of my life on my deathbed, do I care if I was a good audiologist or not? No. What I care about, are there any unfinished conversations? Is there anything left unsaid with me and my family and my grandchildren? I used to walk around saying, I can't wait to be a grandma. And I can't wait. But I'm like, oh, I still needed a boyfriend at the time. I still needed, husband, children, my children to grow up. But it reminds me, okay, stay present. What's going on right now? What's the most important thing right now for me, for them? And that's why one of my mottos or my ways of living in life is like meet yourself where you're at, meet them where they're at. And it's like, oh, that gets you super present. Yeah. I'm so glad to meet you. I've been wanting to meet you. I wanted to go to the walk for hearing. I'm like, I wanted to go to Hands and Voices. No.
Yeah, you're look, this is not the time. You're cooking a person, you have three other children, but
What?
we'll meet because this is like my life's work. I'm in this advocacy work. I'm dedicated. I consider you to be a mentor and social media friend at this point. So we'll meet. We have so many a lifetime
Nearby. We're nearby.
opportunities.
Like we're cross country.
Oh yeah. We have so many. I'm excited about it. But I know the answer to this question, but I know some of the viewers who are going to be watching this. Um, can you share your journey into the field of audiology? Like, how did you come upon that? How did you decide to go into this field?
Right. So in college, growing up, my hearing loss was progressive. Every time I hit my head, my hearing thresholds would get worse. My hearing aids would need to be reprogrammed or get a different kind of superpower hearing aid. And that stopped around 10 years old. My hearing loss was due to something called enlarged vestibular aqueduct syndrome, as well as Pendred syndrome, which is related to progressive hearing loss. Senior year, I had another drop, I think because I had a bad cough and I blew a fistula in my inner ear. But this time, I'm waiting in the waiting room at Cleveland Clinic for my hearing test, and my mom looks over at me. She says, "You might make a good audiologist." What? Cool. I do know what it's like on the other side of the booth. I do know what it's like to have itchy ear molds, to put hearing aids on every day, try different things, not be happy with my programming. And I had been studying for LSATs and also MCAT at the same time. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. And I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do. It's not going to be easy, but it's something that I can relate to and actually put heart into. So I was excited. I switched over to audiology that day when my hearing was down and asked my pediatric audiologist because she worked in conjunction with a closest audiology program. Went. Luckily, I had like anatomy classes and some prerequisites um, that would get me in. And then boom, like,
Wow.
this is what I want to do.
It was meant to be.
Mhm. Meant to be. And it's a place where I get to optimize most of my personal experiences for the better for my patients and hope somehow pay it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my next question. Like, how do you think it's shaped you as an audiologist? But you just answered it.
It's crazy. Like, you would think that I tell everybody that I'm deaf or hard of hearing right away. It's not, it's not, no way. Because they're not there to hear my story. They're here to get help. Okay. What if they're not ready to see somebody who's so empowered and confident in their deaf or hard of hearingness yet? What if they're still grieving? So most of the time I do go to work with my hair down. I do tell them, like, if I'm missing some of their, like, if they're soft spoken, I will say, I'm hard of hearing. I need you to look at me when you talk. Or if it seems like I'm ignoring you, that's not the case.
Yeah.
But it's not my place to tell them about my story when they're here looking for help first.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I like hearing that. Um, I'll think about that too when meeting a new parent to just sometimes you do want to when I've got to this side of acceptance,
Mhm.
I want to immediately take them there, right? And it's the same with
Yeah.
my husband. I approached it a lot faster than he did. And I'm like, come on. I'm like, look at this. Look at this. It's not a big deal. Let's go. But
Slow
everybody,
down and meet him where he's at.
that's tricky because you want them to immediately feel, but that's not how it goes.
Same with kids.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. You're freaking out over a grilled cheese sandwich that had a cut or a banana that I opened. Sorry, I opened it. But oh man, that must be frustrating. Did you want to do it yourself? Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. Okay, cool. No problem. We'll save this banana or I'll eat this banana. Let me give you, because like we end up with what, 15 bananas in our freezer because we just wanted to help them and speed things along because you know what it's like at the other side or the other end of the rainbow.
How are
Maybe
we all
it's
living the same
yeah.
life?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I wrote my book is because so many times one parent goes to all the doctor's appointments and they've had that time to process and think about it, either on the drive home or at night or whatever. And the other parent's working, doesn't know that information. You just give him the conclusions like, hey, we need to front this money for hearing aids, or we need to start this kind of therapy, or let's go start ASL classes. And he's like, how did you even get there?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. How do you balance your career as an audiologist and being a mother? And what challenges do you face?
Okay. Interesting because it was only maybe 4 to 5 years ago. I had a business coach or a business friend because I didn't have a business yet. She was like, what are your core values? What are your husband's core values? okay, what are your family core values? What do you want to meet him? Because my husband and I are similar, but we're still very different people, right? He is all about integrity, efficiency, family fun, and I'm about family fun, communication. So our core values are family fun and communication together.
Okay,
So what matters when I have and I'm a very like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do everything. I love doing this. And he's very, nope, I know I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this, and this. Keep it simple. And I'm like, and you can't tell me as a woman that I can't be a mom, that I can't be nurturing, that I can't be, because when I'm worn out, he's like, stop doing so many things. This is what he used to say. And my friend was like, Steve, you can't tell Michelle not to be a mother.
oh,
He told me, you can't tell Steve not to be a protector and a provider. I'm like, oh, that's where his MO comes from. His goals are providing and protecting his family.
and
So
is he
are
still military?
he was military. Yeah, he retired Navy. So as a family, how do we come together and work together as a team, not against each other? So I started my own business. I'm not in clinical as much. I'm only part-time in clinical. Right now with the baby, I'm not going to be in clinic for a few months just because that. And I structure my business around drop off and pickup because I love doing drop off and pickup.
Uh, yeah.
Like, you know what? I don't need to have that meeting at 8 o'clock. Why? Because then I would need to find a sitter, somebody else to drop him off. You know what? Let me drop him off. Because that's what I loved about when my mom dropped me off at school. My mom dropped me off. My mom picked me up. We always had dinner together. That's what I have from my childhood. And I want my kids to have that. I
Yeah.
want my kids to know I'm there. No, I mean they have no idea what I do when they're at school, right? They're like, "What do you mean? You're just not like waiting for me with snacks all the time?" They're young. My kids are 7, 5, and 3. But I go back to those pillars, those core values. Does this matter? I would love to be doing more speaking opportunities. I did so many last year, but that took away from my kids and my family. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, that's my kid's birthday weekend. I'm not gonna do it. Sorry.
I remember watching you travel a lot last year.
It was a lot.
And we're going out of town in a couple weeks, and you gave me the idea to put on their boarding passes,
Oh
deaf and
yeah.
hard of hearing.
And get the sunflower lanyard.
Oh, sunflower lanyard.
I did a recent post, maybe 2 reels
Oh,
ago.
look. Oh, look at
Yeah.
that. And you also gave me the idea to do the sign in our neighborhood that says deaf children.
I love your sign. Children, I've never seen it plural. I
And
love
it's
it.
on both ends of the street.
It should be because when the cars are coming, they need to see that. Oh, you know?
And it was empowering for them,
Mhm.
right? Like, that's for me, and for our entire family. We were like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's us.
It gives you peace of mind that there's one other check besides just you protecting them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. What advice would you give to a young woman who is hard of hearing or considering pursuing a career in audiology, or just not even a woman, a person in general? What advice would you give a deaf or hard of hearing person going into the workforce?
Know your value. Know that you have something to add. And also know it's not going to be just easy because you know what it's like on the other side.
Mm.
Were hard. I had to figure out different ways how to calibrate equipment. I had to figure out how to listen to other people's hearing aids when I'm hard of hearing. I had to figure out, am I a liability when I do speech testing because I can't hear what everybody else hears?
Got it.
What other checks and balances can I do versus playing victim and saying, well, I'm deaf. I didn't hear them. No, You got it. You almost have to work double, but also know that you have so much value to give to your patients.
Oh, I love that. I love that. How can friends and family members be allies and be a support to someone who's living deaf and hard of hearing?
Know that there's that you will never know exactly what it's like to be in their shoes. And let that humble you.
Mm.
Let that humble you in a way that you can open your eyes, like, oh, and take what that deaf or hard of hearing person says to you as truth,
Mm.
because it occurs to everybody differently. When you say, no, you know that song, or I know you heard me, that's
Ah,
devastating them.
yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they heard you, but they weren't present with you. They were still focused on whatever they were doing visually. I heard you say something, but I didn't hear what you heard or what you said.
That's common even when you are hearing. You tell your kids something and they don't respond. You tell them and you tell them, and it's sometimes they're just in their own world. They're thinking about something else.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I think what I am coming up against now, my oldest, who is hard of hearing. So I have we have 9, 6, 4, and 2.
Okay.
It's my two middles who are hard of hearing, my
Okay.
6-year-old and my 4-year-old. My 6-year-old had some other behavioral needs in the beginning that are starting to smooth themselves out. And we think it's because he was hard of hearing. He was like and although he was aided, he was still having a hard time with language, spoken
That's
language.
like the playing field.
Yeah,
If he has cochlear implants or the best hearing aids possible and scores 100% in quiet, I don't care. He's listening through you with electronic devices.
yeah. So when we put him in school, he started to make friends. He's in kindergarten still, but as they're getting older, my 4-year-old is still in preschool, but as they start to get into those older years, I my insecurity now is what's it how do I best support them when making friends and joining sports teams and all of those things. Do you have any advice
Role
for
play.
parents?
Role play, give him examples, watch him watch your older sibling with him and you tell him your observations, maybe he'll tell you his. Like, oh, look at that. He's super, so and so is super comfortable with that person. I wonder why.
Ah,
Maybe they speak more clearly. This is one of the reasons why I pre-board on the airplane. I notice which stewardesses or flight attendants are much more clear spoken. I notice which lips are easier to read. That's who I gravitate towards. That's
yeah,
why it's like, sorry, not sorry. I'm probably not going to be friends with you if you mumble because it's
yeah.
too much effort. Unless there's something that really is compelling from that's drawing me towards your personality. But take a look like, oh, it's kind of noisy in here. Do you want to lower your hearing devices? Do you want to
Ah,
turn off before the party starts? Like maybe we're here early. Do you want some quiet time in the car before going into Chuck E. Cheese? Do you want, how are you feeling? Check in. Like family vacations, it's a lot. Sure, it's a lot of fun,
it's a
but
lot.
it's a lot. And honor that they want to have some quiet time.
Yeah, and my oldest will say, "Mom, it's too loud." And he'll if we go into a restaurant, sometimes at church, and again, there's the music, there's the band. Those are moments when he'll say, "I don't want these. I don't want to wear these. It's too loud."
And he can still enjoy it by watching visually.
Yeah,
Someone who may be an extrovert is like, yeah, I love this. I want the music pumping, energy's going, da da da. That might drain another person in 2 seconds flat.
yeah.
With your son, you look at your daughter, they're two completely different people.
It's it is unbelievable how they navigate their hearing loss. They're two completely different ways in which they do it, and it's fascinating to me, because it
It,
personality.
like, are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? Are you a manifestor? Are you a projector? Like, are you, I don't know, are you somebody that loves just one-on-one conversations? Would you rather just, crochet at home? Would you
Yeah,
rather be creative with crafts? Would you rather be creative with music? Who knows?
yeah,
And the parents know that kid and their family dynamic the most. You especially, you've got two, you've got four total, five total, but then two deaf and hard of hearing kids. One size does not fit all. And you're that overseer of like, all right, you get quiet time, you go outside and run, you go cook dinner, whatever it fills your tank.
Have to tell my oldest, sometimes it's hard for him to understand when they are doing different things. Like, well, Elijah, I'm like, you're not the same. And I'll tell him, and there's a fear as a parent that you never want the other one to feel slighted or to feel like that you're not giving them something. But I always tell him, you need different things at the moment. Sometimes you're gonna get this, sometimes your brother's gonna get it, but in this moment, you don't need the same thing. And so I just have to make that call and
Yeah.
hope that as you get older, you'll understand.
Yeah. And then you keep with your core values. You know what? Be good people, be decent humans, get good grades, respect your elders, whatever it is your family values are. Because my oldest is having a hard time right now. Like, but you told me the rule. I'm following the rule. How come she's not following the rule? I'm like, you're right. And they just need a second or something. I don't know. I don't know how to balance that yet.
It's so hard to explain that, they may not even have the ability to live up to the rule in that moment sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
The age thing can make a difference. We only have a few more minutes. Um, and this is just, I love it. I could do this all day. I really can. Um, is there anything that you could leave a parent with to make them feel empowered? Just something that they can keep in their mind uh, as they move forward each day.
Slow down and listen to what your gut says.
Mm.
Are you doing it for you? Are you doing it for your child? Are you doing it for somebody else? And it's really cool how you can actually feel the answer within your body
Mm.
and how often people don't check in with that.
I gotta say, I love that because as a parent in general, you think about why you do so many things, right? You breastfeed because they say breast is best. You co-sleep or don't, or you sleep train. You baby wean or baby food, or we talk about all these things, these rules and expectations that you do because people are telling you to do them,
Mhm.
that you don't sign because you don't, or some people say turn your voice off all the time at home and only sign. So it's tricky when you're listening to everyone else. Of course, as a parent, you feel like you're failing all the time because you're trying to, and then I found in the beginning I would flip flop, right? One day I'm doing this one because I'm just listening to the outside. So I agree that you have to check in with yourself, your core value, and what you to believe. And that is very new for me that I've been doing that. And it's changed everything.
Most parents are flip flopping. It's not even flip flopping, it's try this on for a second. Does it feel good? Try
Yeah,
that on for a second. Does that feel better or not as good?
trying. Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. This has been where it's going to turn off, but it's been so wonderful. I can't wait to connect with you again. I hope I can have you back on again. I only have a few followers, but really it's just for people who are looking to gain more insight, I really want to help parents, like you said, in their own time, but to drop the stigma and the shame and the fear, and to have tools so they can walk forward more confident and knowing that they're not broken. They're okay.
Broken, they're totally okay. And they're going to be okay.
That's so great. Thank you, Michelle, for being on the Calm and Courageous podcast. This has been so special for me, and I can't wait to do it again. Thank you
Yay.
so much.
Thanks for having me.